Hello everyone and welcome to It's All in the Detail. This is our second episode of the first series, which we're concentrating around the subject of business. My name's Teresa Meadows and I'm a firm believer that attention to detail in whatever we do yields positive results. So this series is about sharing stories of those working in business that have used attention to detail to their benefit, whether that be expansion or growth or consolidation, increasing productivity and profitability. So I'm delighted to welcome Sam Steggles, who's joining me today, and I feel that Sam embodies a lot of what we just talked about in terms of his business and where he's come from. So hello Sam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, thank you very much for having me. So I'm Sam Steggles. I own Cottage, which is a business based just 10 miles west of Norwich in the heart of Norfolk. And Cottage sort of started 11 years ago now. But prior to that, I think maybe a little bit of background about me. I was born 38 years ago on a farm in South Norfolk, but then my grandfather decided to sell the farm when I was about 5 or 6 years old. He had 4 children and it wasn't big enough to split, so he sold it, and all I ever wanted to do was farm. So if I was going to do that, I had to do it in my own right. So at the age of 12, my parents gave in to the constant nagging from me and gave me a Jersey cow for Christmas one year. So Sophie was tied to the climbing frame with a great big red ribbon around her neck, and there she was, Christmas morning, my very own cow. And that's really where it all started. I bought and sold calves, and then sort of progressed into getting some sheep and bits and pieces. Rented my first farm when I was 12, 13 years old, and it grew from there. But one of the real drivers, I think, was that my grandfather was one of the first to import pedigree Simmental cattle into the UK in the 70s, and I really wanted a Simmental cow, so managed to save up enough money and buy and sell cows, calves, sheep, even oven-ready pheasants to my English teachers at school. And my mother still maintains that's the only way I managed to pass my English exams. But yeah, managed to save up enough and went and bought a pedigree Simmental cow and took over the prefix from my grandfather. It continued to grow. I left school when I was 15, and school didn't agree with me, and I certainly didn't agree with school. So left there. Decided that I was going to buy myself a Land Rover when I was old enough to drive and go around the country lambing sheep for people, milking cows here and there, doing some silage, and that was going to be me. And then some friends decided that they were off to college, so they had a year there and thought that it was great fun. So at that point, I thought, well, maybe I should go to college. So I went to do a 2-year national diploma in agriculture at Wholesale College, where I had far too much fun. Discovered the bar and everything else that went with it, and had 2 very enjoyable years. Made lots of good friends, but was asked to go somewhere else and continue my studies if I was going to do that rather than go back to Wholesale. I think they saw that I was having maybe too much fun and a little bit too disruptive. But either way, I left Wholesale and then went off to Harper Adams and did a 3-year HND in Agri-Food Marketing and Business Studies, and that was really great fun and really inspiring, and learned a lot there. And again, a great group of people, but the work ethic and the enjoyment side of things there went hand in hand, a lot more than they did at Writtle. So, but equally, both have sort of shaped my future, I think. So at that point, in 2004, I left Harper Adams and came back to Norfolk, but took a job selling poultry equipment. So I was travelling the East Anglia at that point, about 1,000 miles a week, going and seeing farmers or integrated companies to sell poultry equipment to them, which I did for 10, 12 years.
Right.
And then we got married. My wife now and I got married, and her sister passed away one Christmas with sudden adult death syndrome, and that really gave me the kick up the backside that I needed. That life's too short, and none of us know what's around the corner. So if we're going to do something, go and have a go. And what's the worst that can happen? At least you can say you've tried, and hopefully you've succeeded. But if not, you can say you tried and you failed, and you'll never be wondering what would have happened if I'd have done that, and you'd know. So that's what we did. Lucy passed away in December. Our son William was born in June, and in October, Caroline, William, and I went away for the weekend and came home with 10 goats, and that's really where Fielding Cottage was born. It was started there.
Why goats?
Why goats? Well, livestock was a real passion of mine. I wanted livestock, and I'd looked at lots of other ways of getting into agriculture in my own right, and we looked at tilapia farming, so fish farming.
Yeah.
But that was quite a big investment cost.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at anaerobic digestion, but this is going back 12 years, 13 years. And again, it was a major investment at that point. Well, it still is now. But if you think you're a 25-year-old with not a lot of money, just married, and a son of 3 months old, it was a huge investment cost. And I wanted to go and take food waste from schools, hospitals, prisons, where there's lots of people, there's lots of waste, and then generate the electricity from the waste, rather than going and growing maize or crops or whatever and doing it that way. But I needed to spend a lot of money, and I didn't have that money. So we kept coming back to goats, and I saw something on Countryfile and in one of the farming magazines, and there was nobody in Norfolk on a commercial scale with goats. So I thought, okay. So we went away and we came home with 10 goats, and it started. So that was in the October of 09,
Mm-hmm.
and then May the 14th, 2010, we had our first lot of kids. And then August 2010, we sold our first piece of cheese at Dis Farmers Market, of all places.
Fantastic. And was that always the plan, to make cheese? Was that was...
Yeah, the plan was to make cheese. There was and there still is nobody in East Anglia other than ourselves now making goat's cheese on a commercial scale. There were a few people doing it with a few goats at the end of the garden, but nothing that was accredited or had the scope to expand. So yeah, we started with the 10 goats, and then it very quickly expanded. We never said no to anybody, and it's gone from there, really. So
always selling at farmers markets, and you know, that kind of thing, or how did you build the cheese side of the business?
So the cheese, when we were doing farmers markets, we were doing 18 farmers markets a month.
Right.
At the height of it, we were going all around Norfolk into London, Saturdays and Sundays into London. So we were doing Notting Hill, Kensington, Balham, all some London markets, which was hard work. But then as the cheese got out there and as we were doing the markets, we started getting phone calls from some of the wholesalers saying that people were talking, had they seen this new goat's cheese, and could they stock it? So at that point we said yes, of course, and then the numbers then kept growing, and it then became apparent that because we were supplying more shops and delis and places, people could get the cheese during the week rather than just at the weekend. So our farmers market sales were reducing, but a great marketing angle to start from. It was really important starting point for us. But then, yeah, we gave up the markets after about 8 years. There was always an excuse. If it was raining, everybody'd gone to the supermarket. If it was sunny, they'd all gone to the coast. If it was windy, they were all staying at home. So we were making excuses as to why the sales were down. But then our wholesale sales would be up because people were buying it from the shops.
So you'd kind of hit that and you'd gone wholesale, and then, if I'm right, you started selling into the airlines and things like that as well. How did that come about?
Yeah, so the wholesale business took off. We stopped the markets, and we were supplying so all the local farm shops, delis, lots of pubs and restaurants. And then we entered the World Cheese Awards and won Super Gold at the World Cheese Awards. Wow. So that really gave us a confidence boost and put our cheese out there. And it was at that point that some of the big players came knocking on the door. Yeah. So you can now buy our cheese in the supermarkets. Yeah. You can eat it at 30,000 feet as you're flying from the UK across across the world. So to Dubai or from Dubai to wherever you're going. So that's a really nice piece of business to have, because it gives us almost guaranteed volume for a given period, so we can plan accordingly and know what we're making. Yeah, that's really good. The supermarkets have been great to work with. Again, we can supply them, and once you're into the pattern, you sort of know what's coming. So yeah, they've been good. But yeah, no, cheese business is where it all started, and then there's been a few offshoots from there, really.
Mm-hmm. So when I met you, Sam, and sat kind of doing our mock interviews for our Nuffield Scholarship, you were just about to expand that cheese business, weren't you, and take that off. But then the last year has thrown, well, 18 months, I suppose, has thrown up some different kind of challenges. Where had you got to by the time that we were heading off to Australia last year? Where had you?
So prior to going to Australia, our business looked completely different to how it looks now. So we were making goat's cheese in significant volume. We were doing about 50 to 100 tons of cheese a year. We'd got a holiday cottage business that we rented out. We built some holiday cottages here. We had a goat's milk skincare business as well that was here. So that was all going great guns. Everything was fantastic. We were supplying supermarkets with tons of cheese, airlines, as you've said. We'd got bookings for our holiday cottages. Everything was fantastic, and then we were off to start our Nuffield experience on the other side of the world, and then the wheels fell off.
And I'll never forget, Sam, sat on the ferry on the way over to Tangalooma Island, which is where the Contemporary Scholars Conference was, and you turning to me and saying, Teresa, I think I might have to go home. The schools had just said about coronavirus, hadn't they? And they were closing, and your business suddenly was going to have some big changes ahead. And yeah, would you say that was that kind of time in Australia and that flight home, if you like, was that the change that you would never have foreseen? I'm sure, like a lot of businesses in terms of coronavirus. Do you want to just talk us through, your kind of feelings of what happened at that stage?
I think, I think it was a very scary time. It was a very scary place to be, and I was in my little Airbnb apartment in the middle of Brisbane, and I had a phone call to say, you've lost your one of your largest cheese contracts because of this thing called coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, really? This was at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd left people at home running the business, and the people that I had left at home are fantastic. The team that I have around me are amazing, but they're all really young. I've empowered a lot of young people, and it's not fair. It wasn't fair on them. My wife was getting increasingly concerned about coronavirus, and rightly so now. And I guess I was in my own little bubble on the other side of the world, and we'd not really heard too much about it over there, I think, at that point. And then the next morning you sort of get on a ferry and head off across to an island which has 1 or 2 ferries a day coming in and out of it, and the very next morning you wake up and you think, no, this is wrong. I think I need to get on that boat and get out of here. So go to the airport in Brisbane and try and get my flight changed, which at Brisbane airport was like a ghost town. There was no one there at all. It was, you look around and, somewhere where there should be thousands of people, there were 20 people, 30 people you could see. And you go up to the airline desk and ask to change your flight home. And they say, no, your flight is to fly out of Cairns in 6 weeks, 8 weeks time. You need to buy a new ticket. Or can I buy one? No, the plane's full. We've not got any tickets. So I had to go and buy another ticket and fly the other way around the world on a different airline and get home. So I left home at Sunday lunchtime. The following Sunday lunchtime, I was back at home, having flown around the world, literally around the world, had 4 nights in Australia, and all I had to show for my time was a haircut.
And came back to a business that was in quite a different place. It was scary. We at the point of coming back, we'd lost 90% of our cheese business, 100% of our holiday cottage bookings. The only real little glimmer of hope was our wooden shack, which we had an honesty box system in, and were selling pieces of cheese and jars of honey and things from there, and that's really what kept us going. So we had to make some pretty tough decisions fairly quickly and decide what on earth we were going to
do, how we were going to take it on or battle it, really.
And so the last year's then been quite something really for your business, from that wooden little kind of hut with the honesty box to where you are today. What are the kind of key points through that process and the kind of decisions that you've made to get to where you are today?
So I think some of the major drivers really were that I have a fantastic team of people here with me on this journey, and I was not prepared to make anyone redundant. I was not prepared to let them have the worry of how they fed their families, how they paid their mortgages, how they put diesel in their car or paid their electric bill or anything like that, put food on the table. That was my problem, not theirs. All they had to do was come to work and do what was required. So we had to very quickly think of what we were going to do. So we took our cheese, put it in our little shop, and started. People kept phoning up. Have you got this? Have you got that? They couldn't get stuff.
Yeah.
So we took our little, and it is literally, or was, a garden shed. It was maybe 8 foot wide by 12, 15 foot long. It's not big at all. And it was full. We had bags of potatoes in there. We had jars of honey in there. We had cheese. We had our bottles of milk and everything.
Yeah.
And then someone was coming in, can you get bread? Yeah, I can get bread, no problem. So we phoned up a baker's and got some bread.
Yeah.
Oh well, we could really do with some milk. So, okay, well we'll get you some cow's milk. So we then phoned up and got some cow's milk. And then one Friday morning, it was the weather forecast was awful, and we filled this shed and we'd got some pop-up tables outside, and it was meant to blow a hoolie and pour with rain, and we just took it down, said, right, we've got the back of our new building is empty at the moment. The builders have all gone because of COVID. No one's, they're shut, they're finished, they've gone. Let's go and clear it out, sweep it out. So we did that. We got some potato boxes. We'd got some old benches, panels that were left over from the builders, and literally laid them on top of benches, on top of potato boxes. So it's 45 foot wide by 80 foot long, 100 foot long. And then people kept coming and asking for more products. I said, well, we can't get toilet rolls. So, it's fine, I'll go and get you some toilet rolls. So we went and bought containers worth full of toilet rolls from I don't know how I managed to find them, and got toilet rolls. So then there was a shortage of flour. So we went and got bags of flour and was selling. At one point, we were doing stupid 1,000 bags of flour a week. It was just crazy. Meat. So we now have supply of fresh meat coming in every day into the shop. We had to go and buy chillers and everything. And suddenly, from this little wooden shack to this almost full shop, we were back up and running. We were in business. We were generating an income. So that meant that we could deploy the cheesemakers. That obviously we didn't need to make any cheese because we hadn't got any customers. All the national pub chains that we supply were shut. The airlines were grounded. So the volumes there. So the people that were in there were then in the shop. The people that were helping us with our holiday cottages were helping in the shop. So a real team effort to get this shop off the ground, which has materialized from that into a brand new farm shop now that we went into exactly a month ago today. And it's a, I don't know, 8.5, 9,000 square foot building that we've put up purposefully for this. We've got a 150 seater restaurant going in. We've got we've got cheese larders. We've got, it's a real it's a good farm shop.
Yeah.
But it's got sort of 3,500 different product lines now. So we've got an alcohol license. We've got our own beer made, the goat herder. We've got all these different product lines that people keep asking us for, and they're going in there. But then, yeah, so that's sort of we've also explored some other opportunities as well, and bought a poultry business, purchased a poultry business shortly after. Well, in the summer, we managed to complete on that. So that was another COVID thing. We've started a little property company as well. There's lots going on, but the cheese is now coming back. Cheese orders are going up, which is great. The holiday cottages are now coming back as well. And to be fair, we've had people in those cottages that weren't holiday makers but essential workers.
Yeah.
And we've also accommodated the builders that have been building the shop for us as well. So we've had a saving there, but it has been a real roller coaster of a year, a roller coaster of emotion, of stresses and strains, and it's just
What a year, amazing. And congratulations, because and we can't go anywhere at the moment, but I think the goat shed is definitely a destination for us the second that we can to come up, and it looks fantastic with what you've done, and like you say, a huge team effort across the staff. I mean, what do you think were the key kind of motivations for kind of doing it? Was it just that feedback to the customers? Was it you've got a capable kind of team and obviously an amazing staff base that were willing to adapt? Is there kind of where did that kind of business insight kind of come from? Is it from the things you'd learned back at Harper, or obviously you've got that kind of entrepreneur's mindset right from when you were a child? Are there key things that you thought, I've got to make this work, or was it that kind of, that personal want, but also that willingness to kind of keep your staff kind of going? Is there?
I think it came from a desire to not want to let anybody down, and whether that was my staff, my family, my customers, everybody. I didn't want to let anybody down, and they were relying on me to come up with a plan. And yes, I could have furloughed everybody, but that would have not been the right thing to do in my view. So we pivoted, or whatever the correct buzzword is at the moment, and we've all been on this journey. But I think the real testament is down to them, and sharing I have the ideas, I have the visions, but they buy into it, and they trust me to make it happen, which actually means a huge amount to me personally. But they believe in it as we all do as a team, and as a team, if we all work together, we can all achieve a lot more together than individually on our own. So I think that was one of the main drivers. Yeah, for sure.
And are there kind of key things you've picked up that have helped the business along the way, whether that's kind of knowledge of how to work with your staff, or driving to make profit, or kind of business insight? Are there kind of key things that you've taken and you've put into kind of place that you'll take forward for your business, the wider business now, kind of going forward?
Yeah, definitely. Listening to our customers within the shop business, listening to our customers is key. So actually listen to what they want and give them what they want. Don't not stock a product because you don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like baked beans, but we've got baked beans because people want them. There's various things that people want. So listen to them when they say, "Can you get this?" Provided that you get half a dozen people asking you for it, then we'll go and find it. We didn't have any fish, and people, they don't want fish. We don't eat a lot of fish, and now we're having 2 deliveries of fish a week. It's crazy the amount of fish we sell.
Yeah.
It's actually listening to them, giving them what they want, but giving them an experience that they enjoy, that they feel safe in, and I think having the right people to interact with them as well and give them something back. We've now got a loyalty scheme, so they can they could collect their little stamps, and once they'd filled their cards up, they get a discount off their next shop. We've just changed that with a new till system to a tap and go card, so that they can collect points on every pound that they spend, and then we can send them promotions, we can send them discounts, we can send them birthday cards, we can just keep in touch with them. We send them a weekly newsletter so that everyone knows what's going on. They know when we're going to open the kitchen. The other day when we moved into the new shop, we gave away 10,000 daffodils to our customers just as a thank you for supporting us, and we did it with tulips earlier in the year as well, when we were in the old shop, and we took 5,000 tulips up and gave to the nurses at the hospital just as a thank you. So I think you only really get out what you put in, and I think that's the same with everything. So the more you put in, the more you'll get out, but don't forget where you've come from at the same time, and don't forget the people around you, because without them you wouldn't have a business.
No, it's massively important. And do you think that saying, whichever business you run, that looking after your customer and that kind of feedback for your customer, whoever that might be, whether that's a grain merchant or your staff on farm, or your businessman, your banker, that's a kind of around you, would you say that's quite a transferable thing, and that you'd apply not only to your actual customers, but everybody around you, whether it's the people you're buying the fish from, or anybody, like you say, it's that kind of wider community that you've built up that's been the key to the success of where you've got to?
Without question. Take our cheese business as another example. We make cheeses in 400 gram pieces or 200 gram pieces, but the one customer now is wanting a kilo piece. Well, it's all very well him wanting it and us saying no, we don't do it, but he'll go and get it from somewhere else. So we can make a kilo cheese. We've just got to do it. So we've got to listen to what he wants and actually do it. I guess it's a bit like a arable farmer. If the grain trader doesn't want barley, then why grow it? Grow wheat instead if that's what they want. I'm no arable farmer at all, but yeah. Listen to what your customers actually want and do what they want, and build up those relationships with them, because it's all about relationships, really. It really is, and with your staff as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, it must be amazing to be, working with your staff, because I feel like they will kind of, like you say, come along the journey with you and believe in what you're doing. I know as part of this as well, and you know, it's heavily related to the business when we think about personal professional development. You know, you've come a long way personally, or you've kind of made some big personal changes over the last year. Do you think, are you happy to talk about those, and do you think they've made a big impact on the business itself as well?
Yeah, definitely. They have, without question, changed the way that our business has developed. One of my very first Nuffield meetings was with a very successful person in Wales, and I drove to Wales in awe of what this guy had achieved, and just to have half an hour with him, and when I got there, I spent maybe 3 hours with him, and he gave me the phone number of someone else to go and see. So I then went to see this guy in London on my way home the next day, and both of those two people, the maybe 5 hours that I spent with them combined, I think have helped shape who I am and the business that we have, and some of the decisions, or a lot of the decisions that we have made. And I've actually spoken to them since about bits and pieces. But some of the key things that I picked up from them was focus, health, and when I say health, I mean physical and mental health, but also time management and control as well. So some things that I've done to change what we're doing here, or what I'm doing, which has helped change what we're doing here. I've enlisted a personal trainer. So well, it started off as one morning a week. So 5 o'clock on a Monday morning, my personal trainer arrives, and I have an hour with him doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things in the barn. We've now got a weight rack in there, so I'm doing bits and pieces there. But he now comes 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 o'clock in the morning every morning. Yeah. So it gets the blood flowing, and makes me more productive in those early hours. And I think that physical health that links through to the mental health. So you're a lot more alert. You're a lot more on your A game to begin with, first thing in the mornings. But linked with that, I've lost a lot of weight. I was not well, I probably was overweight, but I feel a lot better in myself. I've gone, I've had to buy a new wardrobe. Yeah. My trousers have lost sort of 4 inches around the waist, so it's crazy. But I'm eating healthier, so that's really important. I never used to have breakfast, whereas now I'll have a small bowl of porridge and some blueberries or something. But I've also given up drinking. So I had 1 bottle of beer on the 4th of November, 2020. That's the last time I had an alcoholic drink, which, don't get me wrong, I loved my beer and everything. So that was a conscious decision to make, to remain focused on, because I knew I'd got some big decisions to make. And I knew that I wanted to get this business heading in a different direction at a speed of knots. Yeah. So yeah, I gave up drinking and started eating healthier, and really sticking to that, which is really good. Which has helped me retain focus, but also my time management and everything as well. So I try now to work, sort of get in the office for 7-8 o'clock in the morning, and hit it hard through till 1 o'clock, and keep my afternoons clear, so that if somebody wishes for an interview or something, then I can accommodate it. or I can go and collect the children from school, or do whatever is needed, or even just cook supper and help with the homework. And not that I'm much help with homework, but yeah, that's really really important. But also it allows me time to go in the afternoons as well and go and speak to the customers, go and see the guys working on one of the chicken farms or something, to go and go for a swim, go for a walk, go and do whatever I wish to do, really. And taking myself out of the business has helped me grow it, because you can think clearer. You know, a lot of people say you need to work on the business, not in the business, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. And I think a lot of people can, me included, can learn a lot from that. But yeah, and I think just being strict with my time, I was awful at it, but now I do try and close the office door, you know, and then not go in there. And we're now building new offices so that I can actually go to work. They're not in the house, so I will go to work and I will leave work at whatever time, and that'll be me. That'll be the day.
Have that split between your professional and your personal life. Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah.
And do you think that kind of the time, like you say, you being fit and healthy, you know, in many respects, and having that focus, I imagine it will make, you know, maybe going forward even more so, you know, give yourself time to, like you say, to work on that business, to develop and grow that business, and provide the most you can to that business, you know, when you're in that kind of space between 8 and 1 or 7 and 1, you know, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's yeah, it's definitely got its merits and its plus points. You know, I don't think we would have achieved anything like we have had I not have made some of the changes that I made.
Yeah.
And I think also it's better for the team, and I'm a nicer person to be around. So the guys, when they come to work, they want to, you know, they want to be here. It's fun as well. You know, like, yeah, I'm just sad that we haven't been able to go and do some of the fun things that we, as a business, we have done. You know, we've not played crazy golf this year. We've not been cocktail making. You know, we've not done any of those nice extra things, but we've had treats. We've had
to be honest, in the last year, you know, they've had a secure income and a secure livelihood, and seen a business grow and expand and been involved. And yeah, for a lot of us over the last year, it's those little things, isn't it, that have made a massive difference. So
and we've increased the team as well. We've now got, you know, we've put another, I think in the last year, well, pre-COVID, we had 3 employees, and today I think we have 30. So, you know, we've taken on a lot of people, whether they're all new positions that we've created in the shop, or whether they're positions that we've got through acquisition. Yeah, we've gone from 3 to 30. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah, it's amazing, Sam. It's a real tribute to you, you know, and yeah, good luck for the next steps. And kind of thinking about the next steps, what do you see as your next steps? Have you got, what are your areas to focus on kind of going forward?
I think we'll take each business as a separate entity. So we view it that we've got Fielding Cottage as a whole, if you like, but then underneath that we've got lots of different businesses. We've got our poultry business, which we'll look to expand. We've got our cheese business, which we definitely expanding. Our holiday cottage business, which we wish to grow as well. Our shop, obviously, that's here. The kitchen is now going to open, and once we're allowed to have people back in May, then we'll be operational there, and that will grow. And then we hope to take this concept of what we've got here now and roll it out across the country. That's the plan for that one, and then just slowly build up the property business as well. So yeah, there's a lot to be getting on with, but again, it's really exciting, but it's all about the people.
Yeah,
it really is all about the people, and having the right people and with the right skill set, but most importantly, I think the right personality, so that they fit in with the team, and everyone's working on the same page. It's a cohesive effort to move forward, and everyone wants to achieve.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's great to recognise that we can achieve a lot by, like you say, those positive relationships and working together, can't we? So have you got kind of, just to finish it off, kind of, there's so much that we've talked about and so many brilliant kind of nuggets of information. Are there 3 top tips for other people that might be looking to build or to diversify their business, of what you've learned? Is it those 3 you mentioned before, the focus, the physical, mental health and time management, or would you pick a different 3 for other people that are thinking about their business?
I think the first one is make sure your head is in the right place. So with that, I mean, really focus on your physical health, because I really believe that physical health and mental health go hand in hand. So yeah, do something about that. Get the blood flowing early in the morning. Get up and go, even take the dog for a walk. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Get a personal trainer. Go for a swim. Do whatever, but just get outside and actually go and do something that raises your heart rate a bit and clears your mind. So yeah, physical, mental health top, but and look after yourself, and fuel yourself with the right fuel. So don't go eating chocolate bars and what have you. Have an apple, or eat healthily, because that will then help you make the right decisions. I think talking to people, and I think you'd be amazed at how many people, I'm constantly asking people for advice and support, and it is incredibly lonely at the top on your own. So find someone that's either been there, done that, got the t-shirt, or someone whose opinion that you value and trust, and actually talk to them, and almost like a mentor, I suppose, that is at the end of the phone, and they're invaluable, both from a business point of view, but also from your own mentality as well. You can be looking at something, and it just sometimes takes a fresh pair of eyes. But I'd almost put them in my team of people around me. So yeah, health, linked to mental health. Get the right team of people, and actually talk to people and have that support network around you. But then, probably most importantly, don't do it if you're not going to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy what you do. There's absolutely no point doing it if you're not going to be 100% engaged and enjoy it. And everything that we've done, we enjoy. And it'll take you on a funny road, and there'll be lumps and bumps and mountains to overcome, and sometimes molehills to go round. But I think with determination and a strong willpower and the right team and the right approach, then you can achieve anything.
Brilliant. What an inspiration, and I completely agree. I think, yeah, to love what you do and to work with people that motivate you and, you know, to do is the way forward, isn't it? Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Sam. I mean, how amazing to hear about your journey and your business, and it'd be really interesting to do this again in a year's time or 10 years time and see where you are. I mean, I feel like there's a world of possibilities. Thank you for sharing, your journey and the insights. It's really valuable, and especially at the moment where the agricultural industry and the wider industry is going through big change. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you to those that have listened. We look forward to seeing you next time on It's All in the Detail.